Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Strength Club. My name is Byron Johnston, starting strength coach based here in the United Kingdom. We've got some fresh videos to look at today, and I'm recording this in December of 2025. I hope you've had a great break over the festive season, and I just want to wish you all a happy new year as well. What better way to start that than to get stuck into having a look at some of these videos? If you're featured on the podcast today, if you have any questions, you can always message in the comments box. And if you're following along on YouTube, just give us a like and a subscribe so we can keep in touch there. But I hope this is very, very informative to the lifters that have sent in something. We're going to start with Dave, who has sent in a squat video for us to have a look at. Okay, Dave, let's get the tape playing here. Let's see what's happening with the squat so we can see what's going on. All right. Now, I've had a look at this one already. I've had a quick look at everything. And the first thing I can see is a fairly common one, and that is you ideally we want to get you in some shoes. Okay, whenever you're doing any kind of barbell training, honestly, it does pay dividends to get yourself a set of lifting shoes. As I saw you setting up, what we're noticing in the foot here, if you guys can see it, so I've got my cursor on screen here, is a little bit of your right foot is starting to peel up. This plate probably obscures the view of the left foot, but just as we look at you move, just let's get a couple reps in so you can see it. But you'll actually see the feet kind of peeling up a little bit. There's something else going on with that, which we'll speak about in a second. But just here, the heels are slightly lifting up off the ground. Many times we get someone into shoes, the whole foot is just nicely balanced, and it really affects the lift in a positive manner. Okay, so that's worth investing in, Dave. A set of shoes when you get time. Take advantage of the January sales. They often go in at a bargain. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about some of the major stuff here that we want to deal with in the setup and the movement. All right. So Dave, your eyes, you're looking very, very ahead. The bar, I can't tell from this angle, it may be a little too high on your back. So, but even if it is in what we call the high bar position, you want to get your eyes down at the ground a bit more. And I suspect from looking at the background, there's a mirror in front of you. And always remember, guys, mirrors draw your eyes into the mirrors. So try to get your eyes looking down a little bit more at the ground here. And in the movement itself, see where you just look there, Dave, that's what we want, okay? So eyes down, lifting shoes on. And then as you come down, here's what you're going to work out in the movement, okay? You need to think about reaching your hips back and leaning over more, all right? It's going to feel like a bit of a different lift. And the way I help people do this, if they've been squatting with their body, their torso too upright and their eyes ahead, one of the things I do, Dave, is I just have them do like a body weight stretch. So you take your squat stance and you're going to squat down. This is with no barbell. This is just like a body weight movement. Squat down, take the tip of your elbow and use it to shove your knees out and just pause at the bottom of the squat. Okay, literally just freeze in that position and take a note when you're doing that. Notice how, as you are tucked in that position, notice how much more leaned over you are. And to stay in balance, you'll notice your hips are probably a bit further back as well. Okay. And that is going to help you normalize that bottom position that you want to come to in the squat with the barbell. From there, get your plates on and start reloading from there. You're probably coming in a little high here as well. You want to try to get a bit deeper, but let's just get the movement kind of looking how we want to first of all. So shoes on, eyes down, Dave. Okay, squat down, try to squat down into that position that you felt that when you stretch down, you're aiming to get the crease of your hip just below the top of the knee here. So you're going to bring that down a few more inches here before you drive up. Okay, so those are the big things to get, the big brush strokes we want to get on the canvas for you. Shoes on, eyes down, and in the squat, you're going to reach back, sit down into it, leaning over nice and early on. So it will feel like you're more leaned over, your chest is more pointed at the ground. If it feels like that, that's absolutely correct. Okay, that's what we want. That's what I need you to do. Okay, so Dave, that's the notes on your squat for there. As you start to get the shoes on and as you start to sit back into it more, that issue that I first pointed out with your foot moving around, that is probably going to clear right up. Okay, we do need that. I identify it because one of a prerequisite is that you are in balance. Okay. If we don't have balance, we don't have any of the lifts. All right. The only one we can get away with it is a little bit in the bench press, you're lying down. But even then, you want the feet planted. But really, we got to have that. So we need to, these movement drills I've given you, these cues I've given you to do, are going to help you stay balanced there. Again, I do highly recommend the shoe. It's definitely worth getting. Okay. If you're wondering what I use an Adidas Power Lift. And if you will get those shoes, they almost always go into sale a couple times in the year. And if you do get a set, you need to order a half size bigger than you would normally get on a lifting shoe because they come up a little bit tight. All right. Okay, sir. Let's get on to the next video. We're going to jump here to, I believe this is Joshua, who's brought in also a squat video for us to have a look at. We're going to have a look at some other videos as well, rack pulling and deadlifting in a minute. So, Joshua, let's get you playing. Let's get things moving here. Okay. So things are moving reasonably well. We just need to keep an eye on a few things for you, Joshua. Sometimes as you go through the set, what's happening is you're cutting the depth off a little bit too soon. Okay. So you're stopping a little too early. All right. Let's see if we can catch it and I'll hit freeze frame so you guys can see this. There. There's the crease of the hip. Anytime you see that kind of downward angle on the leg, there it is. If you're cutting it off there, if you've got that angle on the thigh, that downward sweep from the top here down to lower, it's a giveaway that you're stopping the squat too soon. Okay, but I'm pretty sure in the first couple of reps you were getting down lower. So this is just a kind of a reminder to to dig in and you be stubborn about it. Okay, now on your rack you've got your safety set, so you don't worry about failing a rep. Josh, if I failed plenty of reps, okay, so you don't worry about that. You dig in and you get all the way down, and if you don't get a rep, okay, you didn't get a rep, but stick with it, come all the way down. The other little thing I want you to do is the bar is moving a little bit on your back, and I just feel that one thing I would like you to do is in between each rep here, you can take a breath in and just retighten your arms back together. It's going to feel like you're drawing your elbows back, like you're going to almost try to touch them. Okay. And I want you to retighten every single rep because I felt here that I wouldn't, if I stood behind you, I might think there's a little bit of room here to just tighten that area up for you. Okay. So breath in, tighten the shoulders up, and then off you go. Okay. In the movement, you're going to come all the way down every single time. Yeah. Crease of the hip below the top of the knee when viewed side on, and just be stubborn about it. Okay. You've got to be stubborn with yourself. All right. It's good to film early on when you're doing this so that you can catch it in your warm-ups. All right. Catch it in the warm-ups because if there is a bit of the creep on that depth coming in, you want to get that when you're warming up at 70, 80%. Don't leave it to the last minute, okay? Get on top of that soon because then when you hit the working weight, you're going to have a clean looking lift from there. All right. So that is something I routinely do in my own training is I do jump in and check things early, make sure it's all good to go, and then I know I've got it. And sometimes here's the weird thing, right? Guys, sometimes I have had lifts where it felt like it was not going well and it felt like I'm really high, the depth is not there. I look at the tape on my video and I'm like, oh, I'm actually going deeper than I thought I was. Also, there's been times where I have been squatting too low. Sorry. Yeah, no, it felt to me like I was squatting absolutely like burying it really low. And I grab the video and I look at it and I'm squatting too high. So these little things can happen. And I'm an SSC and I'm telling you it can happen. So you want to catch it before it happens to you. All right. So first two guys, Dave, Joshua, thank you for sending the videos in. Mr. Phelps is next. I don't know his first name, so I'm just going to call him Mr. Phelps. We have a rack pull here. So the first thing I would say on this one is from a coach's perspective, if you have the room, stand on the other side of the bar. So keep the camera here, stand on the other side of the bar, because from that front 45-degree angle, it's a bit more of a useful diagnostic. if I be honest with you. Okay, from the rear here, so I can't quite see everything I need to see. From seeing is the back really set an extension? It's not exactly clear if I be honest with you, Mr. Phelps. Sorry to sound so formal, but I've only got the surname. I didn't. You just wrote a J for the first, so I didn't see what it is. I might just call you Jay. So as you come up in the first rep, you exhale. There, I heard it. All right. So ideally, guys, in pulling, we don't want to exhale at the top under load. All right, when we're lifting it up at the end of the motion, there, the terminal position. Hold the air in, put the bar down, then reset your breath. Okay, so in pulling, like rack pulls, deadlifts, we put the breath in on step number 4. All right, so 1, 2, and 3. 1 is just bar over midfoot. 2 is gripping the bar. 3 is sitting down. However high that needs to be, a rack pull is going to be higher up. So you're going to bring the shins to the bar by sitting down into it. And then it's time to take the breath, set your back flat, and then bring the bar up. As you get to the top, you hold the breath in, and down you come, and then you reset the breath, okay? So Jay, that's what I want you to do is hold the breath in at the top. As tempting as it is to let the air go out, just hold it in here. Bar goes down, and then you reset the breath here, okay? Now, so let's just build that in as a habit, all right? Build that in as a habit. And you'll catch it because if you are recording yourself, you'll that's what I heard. I just heard you excel. Even though I can't see it because I'm behind you, I heard it, so I know it happened. All right. Now, once you've got that in as an absolute habit, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to take your time to set your back flat. Okay, because sometimes as you got into this, I think you were trying to whip these 3 reps out pretty fast, and that one you just kind of like we did like what we call a grip and rip. You're like, I need to get this thing moving ASAP. The only problem with that, Jay, is every time you do that, is you're not really setting yourself in step number 4. Okay, so we're back here. We are back to step number 4 again, and that is taking your time to get your back flat. All right. So I want you to take your time. And by the way, I can see this is heavy as well. So, kudos to you for pulling this kind of weights and everything. But with that comes the responsibility of executing it very, very well at this kind of tolerance ranges. Okay. So I want you to focus on step number 4 of the setup process that we use. If this is sounding a bit foggy to you and you're not clear, then just jump on YouTube, just type in starting strength, deadlift tutorial, and you'll see the steps there broken down beautifully. So it becomes absolutely crystal clear there. All right. So on step number 4, take your time. All right. Lift up the chest until you feel the back is an extension all the way down, all the way down. The breath is held in. You bring the bar up to the top. Breath stays in. Okay. And you did do a better job here on those ones, by the way, of not exhaling it. But I just caught it on the first one. Breath stays in. Bar comes back down. Okay, and don't short the process of getting that turnaround. Okay, so those are the things for you, Jay, to focus on there. All right, so you've pretty much got it. If you can stand on the other side and film from the front 45 for us, that actually is a bit more useful. I might pick up a few more things there. One other thing I like to do on rack pulling is I like to use straps. If I'm honest with you, when I deadlift, I'm a hook grip man, but rack pulling, I love a set of lifting straps. Okay, we have time for one last form check for today. This is Amat. We're going to look at a deadlift video. So here we go with Amat and his deadlift here. Let's have a look. Let's just get it playing. Let's get the tape playing. Now, I'd love to know how tall you are, Amat. I'd love to know how tall you are. He looks real tall. You look like a tall guy. Your legs look tall. And here, when I see how low down your shoulders are and how high your hips are, I'm thinking, okay, this is something I've got to keep an eye on. Sometimes this can be hard to set up against the bar. But however, there. Now, Jay, I hope you are still watching, sir. Let's rewind the tape. Look at this back extension. Jay, this is what I need you to do. Okay, here's step 3. He sat down. Look at step 4. There. That is what we want. Real intentional back extension. That is a lovely example of that. Up comes the bar. It's heavy. I can't see from the side angle. I'm guessing it's about 315, so about 140 kg. It could be more. It could be 405. I really can't tell. Maybe on the way down we'll see it. Down he comes. Bang. Okay. So I think this is a pretty damn good looking deadlift. Emma, you've done a nice job on this. Again, I can't tell with the number of plates we got there. There's probably one little thing I would want to tidy up here. You guys see if you can guess what it is. I'll tell you in a second. Anyone guessed it yet? I'll tell you guys. I know you want to know. So the I think this is a great set. This is one of those times where when I see a lifter like this, just so you guys know, I'm going to start moving around. So I'm going to start kind of moving around, changing my perspective because sometimes in coaching, you want to see if you're missing any other position. So we don't, I know in this video we're kind of stuck with one angle, but on the actual gym floor, coaches like me are going to want to move around because when I see it looks really good there, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to start moving and say, okay, so can I catch him do something else? All right. And the thing I'm finding that I am finding from this side angle, Emmett, that you want to fix is as you put the bar down, I want you to try to resist letting it come away from you so that you have to kind of roll it backwards. All right. So it's kind of scooping around, sliding off your knees, coming out wide. And then sometimes you have to kind of drag it back. I'll see if I can find an example rep for you. And this is somewhat of a minor correction, but I think when we're executing a heavy triple or a heavy set of five, it is little things like this that tightens up, that minimizes any leaking of energy and your energy. Okay. And you guys know when you do a heavy set of five, we are on the clock. Okay. You don't want to be down there all day doing that. So these little things start to matter as that weight increases on the barbell. Here we go. There. So to me, I can see that kind of scooping out and then having to be repositioned. We'll see if we can see another one and see it happen again. There. So it kind of looks there. He's actually having to roll it back. If I just wind the tape back a little bit here, have a look at this. You'll see he has to kind of guide it back around. Have a look just here. Bang. Rolling it back. Yeah. So that we like to avoid it. How do we do that? So the answer is we deal with it at the top. So he's got a nice steps 1 through 5 on the way up. Here's the plan. Here's what you want to do. Okay. On the way down, you're allowed to take your eyes off of position out here, and you can start to shift your focus down so that in your peripheral vision, you'll see the target point where you want that bar to be over your shoe. It's going to come down about the same speed you're putting it down. You don't need to go into slow motion or anything. But as you come down, you're going to think about getting over the top of the barbell and kind of holding your knees out the way. So the knees getting in the way is what's giving that kind of ramping effect where it kind of slides off your thighs, comes out, lands wide away. So you're going to get over the top of the barbell. You're going to use your peripheral vision to get your target where you want it. And you're just going to hold the knees back a little bit more. It's going to pass the knees, and then you can bend the knees after that, okay? So you're basically going to keep the knees out, get over the top of it, keep your knees out the way, and target it right where you want it. Okay, see that big slide there, that's how it can scoop out away from you. Okay, there's a little bit of practice here. All right, again, don't wait for it to be 315 to work on this. You want to get put a pair of 20s on, put a pair of 45s on. If I say 20s, I'm talking about 20 kgs. I can't see the numbers here. I think you might be in the US. I think it's 45. So you pair of 45s on the bar. So the bar's at 135, 135 pounds. Start working on it there. It takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get it with your weight, your strength capability here. A guy like you is going to be able to get this on the first time he does it, the first session of practicing it. And I think it's worth practicing because, as we discussed earlier, as it gets heavier, we want to be real crisp on that set of 5 as it gets heavier. Okay. All right, Amit, that's everything for the deadlift. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you for submitting form checks to the Strength Club. This has been the podcast for today. If you have questions, you can drop them in below on the comments there. I will try to review them. My handle on YouTube is something like Strength Revolution Coaching, something along those lines. If you can tag me in, if you make a comment, that will alert me that someone's posted, and I'm more likely to see it if you get stuck on something. Okay, I hope it's been extremely useful for you guys, and you've benefited from it. If you get stuck, the startingstrength.com is a massive resource of information and tuitional videos, and there's loads of ways to get support out there if you need it. My name's Byron. Again, Byron Johnston. You can find me if you want to find out my website or any information about me. I'm at Strength Revolution, that's REV, Revolution, strengthrevolution.org. You can find me there. If you're in the UK, I coach all over the UK. I'm based just south of London. I'll be doing some events in 2026. Anyone is welcome to come. If you're not sure about coming to those events or getting coaching in person, just drop me an email through that website. I am pro getting people lifting, no matter how old you are, how stiff or tight you think you are, um, how beaten up you are. We'll get you moving one way or the other. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much for tuning into this latest edition of the Strength Club. Please share the podcast if you think it can help anyone else. I hope it's helped you in your lifting. All the best. Have a great start to the new year. Thank you very much, and we will cut it there for now.